George Borghardt, and this is another Higher Things video short. Do all dogs go to heaven? That's the subject of today's Higher Things video short. I got my buddy here, Thor. Give me 5, buddy. Give me 5. You can do it. Come on. Give me 5. That's my boy. Give me 5. That's my boy. Good dog. Good dog. Well, am I going to see Thor in heaven? Look at that cute boy. Am I going to see him in heaven? Well, a classic Lutheran thought is that Thor, while super cute, doesn't have a soul. And so I won't see him in heaven. He's not redeemable. He can't believe. Now, I would say that sort of understanding is Platonic. What I mean by that is we're the determining factor on who has a soul and who doesn't have a soul, and therefore who goes to heaven and who doesn't go to heaven. Sort of limits God to what he can and can't do in the suffering and death of Christ. The Platonic thinking of who has a soul and who doesn't, in ancient times, had the discussion about whether or not women had souls or slaves. So we want to sort of scrap who has a soul and who doesn't. Besides, did you see Thor's paws? It looks like he has soles at the bottom of his feet. That was awful. I'm sorry. Even Thor's going to go to bed on that one. Let's take it back to Jesus. First and foremost, salvation was achieved by Jesus on the cross, his holy life and his bitter sufferings and death. So you and I have no doubt that we are we're in the favor of God because of the suffering and death of Christ. Christ died. Christ rose again. That salvation has been delivered to us in the waters of holy baptism. It is Calvary sure, Easter sure, as certain as Jesus died and rose again from the dead will rise again. We have already died with him in baptism, and we will rise again from the dead. And with that sort of understanding, and understanding that all of creation groaned and longed for Christ to save us, the jewel of creation, we can say with a reasonable amount of certainty, understanding that God has redeemed all of creation, the earth, a new heavens and a new earth, which means I should expect to see a new dog in heaven named Thor on the last day. Now, is that salvation of Thor's as certain as my salvation? No, it isn't. I'm banking that, I'm sort of guesstimating based upon the new creation, a new world, that I'll see Thor again. But that isn't as certain as me seeing Jesus, because salvation isn't about me. It's about Christ. It's not about Thor. It's about Jesus. It's about what he did for me on the cross and what he delivers to me in water, words, and in his body and blood given for us to eat and drink. It also sort of limits God's eternal life, that heaven's not going to be perfect unless I see Thor there. Come here, buddy. No? Really? I got a treat. Heaven, well, is going to be perfect whether I see Thor or not, because heaven's all about Jesus. So it's really not going to matter to me whether I see Thor or not. It's what's important is Christ. Now, I believe, because he's redeemed all of creation, Christ has, that I'm going to see Thor. That's my opinion. And that opinion is just about as certain as the idea that I'm not going to see Thor because this guy doesn't have a soul. High five. High five. That's my boy. That's my boy. Here you go. I'm Pastor George Borghardt, expecting to see him in heaven because of Jesus. And this, but okay if I don't, be also because of Jesus. And this has been another Higher Things video short.